Modal interchange, what is it? Who's it's for? How should we use it? That's what we're covering today.
We also like to call it the upside down world from Stranger Things. So we're gonna dive into the darkness.
So modal interchange is probably one of the most effective tools that you have to pull the rug out from under your listener.
So let's start by writing down a C major chord family. The C major chord family are the diatonic chords of the scale of C major. Basically, I'm playing a scale of C major and getting all the chords that I can build from the notes inside a C major scale. These are the 7 chords that you get, you know. The B diminished is rarely used in this context. You normally hear it as a secondary dominant. So when we talk about the upside down world, I'm basically talking about the C minor family. I'm not talking about the relative minor. The relative minor of C major is A minor. I'm talking about the parallel minor. We take now C minor, the scale of C minor natural, and we write all the chords that we can build using a C minor natural. They are
C minor, D diminished, which we're never going to use, E flat major, F minor, G minor, A flat major 7, B flat 7, and then we're back around to C minor.
So the idea here is most music orbitates around this galaxy, the galaxy of your major family. You find those the chords that you have there. For example, any given song. I was thinking about Bruno Mars, you know. It's all this, only using chords from that major family, right? Okay? Whenever you use a chord from the minor family, and we're not going to use the diminished, it just sounds bad, but any of the other ones, you're going to hear a sense of magic, a sense of, whoa, something's happening, because we're borrowing one of those chords. So in this case of the Bruno Mars piece, I have an A minor, and then I have an E minor. Then look at this. Too young, too dumb to realize that I should have known. So basically, I have that one chord, the B flat chord, that is coming out of the minor family.
It kind of drops the bottom out of it. You go from the minor 6 to the minor 3, and we've talked about how they each have their different character. The 3 is the depths of despair, and then all of a sudden, we're almost taken to this whole new place. Try it again with your best Bruno Mars singing.
Too dumb to realize that I should back.
Oh my gosh. Enrique, what are you doing on this channel?
Yeah, it's a pop lab, it's not a jazz lab.
I'm glad, because otherwise you'd be touring the world selling out stadiums all the time. I'm glad you're here with me.
These are the chords. Sometimes you may see them labeled like this: the flat 3, the minor 4, the minor 5, the flat 6, the flat 7.
Basically, Enrique, what you're saying is modal interchange is just a really fancy way of saying I'm going between the chords of the diatonic major to the chords of the natural minor.
Exactly.
And I'm picking randomly, switching between them, and that is modal interchange. And this is what kind of blows my mind. So much of what you learn in advanced music theory has these tremendous academic names that make them sound so intimidating, but really this is simply just borrowing from the parallel minor.
Yeah. And here's how you can do a good exercise that can really help. First, you can always use these chords to reharmonize something. So for example, if I'm playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, okay? And instead of somewhere, instead of going from C to A minor, what if I go from C to whatever, A flat, like somewhere flat. Right? That's an easy way to reharmonize. You don't even need to think too much. You just impose one of those chords. Of course, I'm thinking if the melody is going to fit those chords. So you need to be aware of what notes you have in a melody and what are the notes from all those chords.
But then it's just solving a puzzle, because if you know the note and the melody, all you have to do is spot check and make sure, does this note exist in the root, third, fifth, seventh, maybe ninth, but probably root, third, fifth, seventh to be safest.
Yep.
And then, yeah, that's a great option for a modal interchange reharmonization.
One thing that I also think it's really cool is to create your own 4-chord progressions.
Usually one of the principles is that we talk about is not overusing the modal interchange or the upside down world, because it'll really overtake everything and everything will become so dark.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, Henrique, like if we're going to do a 4-chord progression, maybe one of those 4 chords is going to be from the parallel minor.
So we should all normally start with A minor or C major, so you really understand your tonal center. Okay, it's like the yin yang, C major and A minor, they're relatives. You know, if you start with another chord, you may not even understand what key you're in. And then I would use probably one chord from the minor family. So for example, Tim, give me a progression here.
C major 7.
Yeah.
E minor 7.
Okay.
A flat major 7. C major 7.
And what?
Or C. You could just do triads if you want.
Okay. Let me try with the 7th. Play now F here.
Yep.
I'm gonna do another one. Let's say I'm gonna do like, I don't know, C major 7, then F major 7, then A minor is gonna sound really pop, but then at the end I'm gonna use E flat, and it's gonna sound a little crazy. Like C major, I'm going to F, A minor.
Yeah. And then I think now we've cracked the code on like every modern jazz composer.
Yeah, that's how Brad Mehldau thinks. That's a lot how Radiohead's music works. So you see examples of this all the time.
We tend to think that things are more complicated than they need to be, and this concept right here is so simple. We're just mixing between the major and its parallel minor. And also, when you're thinking about writing a song, you don't necessarily think that 4 bars is enough and picking 4 chords is enough, but clearly so many amazing, talented, world-class musicians make music this way. And I think that's one of the most liberating things that you learn as you're becoming a professional, is that sometimes it's actually in the simplicity.
So one thing I recommend is really learning the major and minor families of every possible key. The famous keys that, you know, C, F, G, D, A, B flat, you know, those are some that you should know immediately. The major chords from the major family and the ones from the minor family. So you can easily transition between them.
So if there's a daunting music theory concept that's really got you stumped, put it in the comments and maybe it's something we can tackle next time.
So let us know your thoughts and your suggestions for our next videos.
Till next time.
Bye.